Okay, so I'm attorney David Coberline. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Florida, and I have written and created a website, yesyouneedalawyer.com. Before we get too far into any of this, I'm going to state very clearly, very concisely, I am not your lawyer. None of what I'm discussing is legal advice. I'm not providing legal advice. We're just going to discuss basically what I would call the survey of the law. All right. Now, as you can see, I have a website called yesyouneedalawyer.com. So, uh, if you are thinking of being your own lawyer, I don't recommend it. If you're here to come up with ideas and questions to address to an attorney during a free consultation, then go ahead and proceed to watch. If you think you're going to watch this and be able to be your own lawyer, don't stop watching. I would tell you to stop watching. If you just want to get some information because you're considering a divorce and you realize you're going to need a lawyer because it can get complex, then I would encourage you to keep watching. Okay. So I created this very long, very large web page, how to file for divorce in Florida law, rules, process, attorneys, and things to know. Now, this is over 20,000 words. This is not even a tenth of what you need to know about divorce in Florida. I'm just going to be 100% obvious about that. Um, so, kind of as we discuss things, okay, uh, bear that in mind. So, I may be discussing cruxes and questions that you want to give serious thought to. But there's a whole bunch of case law that may say something different, and it may apply differently to you. It may be something that is peculiar to your situation or particular to your situation. Cases can be similar and cases can be different. And even when cases are similar, they can be just different enough. So keep that in mind. The reason I'm doing this on a screen share instead of showing my lovely mug is because I have a face for radio. Also, want to try and encourage people to visit the site and do some reading. So we're not going to read this line item by line item. We're really just going to kind of discuss what is on this website and what you really want to give some thought to. So right away, a big issue we have in Florida is folks who do not have fees to hire a divorce lawyer. But the other spouse has hired a divorce lawyer or they have the means to. So right off the bat, one of the things I want to raise is Florida Statute 61.16. If you visit the web page, you'll see the link to the statutes. You can read the statute at your own discretion. You'll also see the web page, help Florida divorce law clients get their fees paid by the other side with limited appearance while only charging them $1,000. I'm going to include that link in the description. I'd also include the link for the statute in the description as well. I'm probably going to include a lot. Doesn't hurt anybody, doesn't hurt anything. Again, this is the kind of help inform people as part of meeting with and discussing their legal needs with an attorney in Florida. As you're going to probably realize, I have written a ton of material. There's over 180 pages of divorce case law or divorce law alone. Okay. I have analyzed and written about over 100 cases, and will probably be writing about more in regards to Florida divorce law. Again, it's depending on the web page I created, I've written a lot about stuff. So right away, you'll see a table of contents. Why do I have a table of contents? Because people are going to be coming to the website. You might read something once and go, dude, I can't remember that thing. And rather than have trouble navigating back, I'd rather you just be able to click into your history files or history and, oh, okay, now I want to read about this other issue. Because at the same time, this is a very long read. It's basically a novella. Not everyone has time for that. Not everybody has the mental fortitude to deal with that. Because again, divorces are very stressful. They're a very serious situation. Okay. So we're going to cover the first bit, divorcing in Florida, how I think you should begin before you file for divorce. All right. You're going to see this term layman, Layman, Y-M-E-N. You also see lay, L-A-Y. Basically, that's just saying, hey, you're not a licensed attorney typically. Of course, you could be an attorney reading this and going, oh, hey, I want to call this attorney and hire him because, it goes back to the old adage, the attorney who represents himself has a fool for a client. At least that's the adage. It depends on the lawyer. So really what I want to get into this is what's not going to be seen on the screen here is, and you got to give some serious thought to when you begin a divorce situation. You don't want to rush, okay, to file for divorce. There may be certain exceptions to that if you've had an injunction for domestic violence filed against you, or a petition for injunction domestic violence. You've had it served on you, okay? You might want to immediately talk to a family law attorney that specializes in injunction defense, because defending against an injunction can be incredibly sophisticated. And at times it can also be highly relevant to your future. And I'll have other materials on that I'll discuss in later times. Again, if you have questions, if you've been served with an injunction for domestic violence and you have questions, go ahead and feel free to reach out. If I can answer your questions, I will. There is material on this website about it, and I'll probably link to that as well. So, all right. And I have to understand, when you begin the divorce process, there's a lot of things you need to be aware of, like mandatory disclosure. You need to be aware of the filing fees. You need to be aware of discovery. You need to understand, I think more so than ever, the courts are very diligent about keeping cases moving. They don't want cases sitting for 2 years on their dockets. This is because they're just getting massive backpilings, backlogs, they're just becoming a headache. So understand, when you begin the divorce process, at times it's going to feel really slow. At times it's going to seem really fast. Why? Because the courts want to move. The courts are overwhelmed, possibly. You've been a lawyer in Florida for more than a year, and have had to go to court, you know that there's some long waits at times. Okay. One of the things I really want to harp on is there are no two bites of the same apple. And I say this because I have had more than a few consultations with people like, okay, I want to undo my judgment. Can't. This judgment that was like 5 years ago. There's a narrow exception where there was fraud on the court, but that's a high burden to meet. That can be very difficult. And thus why I tell people, when you're looking at going through the divorce process, you want to get all your ducks in a row the first time. You can't necessarily fix things later. Is there a possibility to? Technically, there is. Practically, I don't like it. It's too narrow, too little, in my opinion. And what qualifies as fraud is quite high. And some judges do not like to mess with the prior rulings of other courts where the case has long been settled, either by a judgment or settlement agreement. One thing I do want to talk about is when you go to a law firm, if you're feeling like they're engaging in used car salesman tactics in order to pressure a sale, because again, you're hiring them, you're retaining them, you're giving them money. It is a sale. Okay. If you show up and you're having to wait 15 to 20 minutes for your appointment and there's a ton of people in the lobby, they knew this appointment was coming. What went on here? If you go in and you meet with a paralegal or a legal secretary who takes some initial information from you, that's important for an appointment as well, because it can help iron out a lot of facts. I mean, today's day and age, I tell people, hey, write up a synopsis, ask if you can email to the law firm ahead of time. What are the facts? What are the issues? I'll go ahead and post a link to another page that talks about how you can prepare for a divorce consultation, because I think it's highly relevant. Because to me, you're going to a consultation, you're going to be beginning your case. The things that you want to know is this lawyer skilled and knowledgeable enough to handle my divorce? That's the first most important thing. Second, are they going to be educating themselves on the law because a lot has changed, or are they just going to kind of, go through it? Are they just rushing to mediation and the settle, or are they preparing for litigation? Most divorces can end in mediation, but I've been in enough situations where the mediation did not pan out. Okay. Sometimes you have to be prepared to go all the way to get all the rights you're entitled to. Okay. So these are some of the things you need to discuss with the lawyer. What is my litigation cost going to look like if I go all the way? Can you take monthly payments? Are there any kind of capped fees? You don't want to get into a case and then end up owing $15,000 when you were not clued in. Hey, this might cost $15,000. Some attorneys like, hey, I don't charge more than $6,000 because I'm pretty sure your case isn't going to take more than 50 hours of work. Every case is going to be different. Every law firm is going to be different. Don't be in a rush, but at the same time, do not necessarily let yourself sign with the last law firm you talk to. You're going to want to really sit down and soberly go over, well, I got this feeling, this guy said this. And again, take notes, see what they recommend, see what they're prepared to do, what they're prepared to talk about, because again, no second bites at the apple. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this bit right here. All right, for the time being, only because a lot of people have short attention spans, but I will be creating more videos. I want you all to hopefully keep checking in as we go. If you please comment if you have questions, that helps me figure out what I need to communicate to the public that I'm maybe not communicating. What might be more helpful. If I have already written something to answer your questions, I'll provide the link to it. That kind of stuff. If you want to schedule a consultation, please, a free consultation. I do them via Zoom. I do them for free. They're up to 30 minutes. It has to be a case based in Florida. If you're in Louisiana, I can't help you. If you're in New York, I can't help you. I'm only licensed in the state of Florida. At the same time, I'm going to want a synopsis before it. So if there's something I want to look up so I can give you better answers, that's great. Also understand if you do a free consultation with me, it's not legal advice. It's me assessing whether or not I can help you with your case. Okay. So I like to get that ahead of time because it's something you'll see. None of this is legal advice. It's all about helping you develop questions and ideas to address to an attorney during a free legal consultation. All right. And most law firms will give you a free consultation. Not all, but always feel free to ask ahead of time, and always feel free to ask if they'll do Zoom. Zoom's relatively easy. I prefer them because I don't have to travel anywhere. I can just stop what I'm doing, take a break, talk to the client, or prospective client rather. So these are just some things to keep in mind. So to review real quick, Florida Statute 61.16 allows for the possible award of attorney's fees. We'll get into that more as we discuss material on this page. I'm going to be doing it in bits and pieces, trying to keep them between 5 and 10 minutes. So you can take notes. You can always come back later if you want to. Really start giving yourself an idea about what you're going to talk about, all right, with the attorney. What is your situation? What are your logistics? How long can you go without an order of alimony or child support, stuff like that? So that's really going to start coming up later. The next few pieces are going to be more procedural. But hopefully I'm making this all easy to understand. If I'm not, please tell me. If I need to get a voice modulator, also let me know. All right, so that's it for now, folks. I'm going to see you. I'm going to have another piece later.